Nothing is happening.
It says live on my end.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh. Here we go. Yeah, now it says like 19 seconds. Okay, good morning. Welcome to Booked Up with Beth, and I am Beth Hildenbrand, and everybody should know that. Anyway, good morning. My thing's messed up this morning, so I'm sorry. Deal with it, people. Today we have three very lovely ladies on the show. Julie LaFrance, Roux Cantrell, and April D. Berry. So I am happy to have them. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
And that whole little jobber with my time not showing up just has totally thrown me off this morning. So I am going to ask each of the ladies to tell us a little bit about themselves, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the book business. So let's start with Julie.
Hi, I'm LAFrance. I'm from Northern Ontario, Canada, and I write pretty much anything that piques my interest. Right now I'm writing MC romance and contemporary romance with a little bit of humor in it.
Okay, thank you. And now, April.
I'm April D. Berry. I write romance of various subgenres, and same thing. Right now, my focus is MC romance. I've had a series that I've been working on for a couple of years, and I'll be wrapping up the current series in April of 2026, and I'm kind of sad about it. But I have two kids. One just started college, so I'm still working my way through those weird emotions of having my kid gone for the first time. The other one's in high school. I'm married to a book boyfriend. Like, he's tall, tatted, got a beard. I mean, seriously, Roux met him, total book boyfriend vibes. So
I'll agree.
he goes to the events with me, and he's so much fun. He helps me do everything. So we have two cats and a dog, and I live in Georgia. I was born and raised here. If it were up to him, we would move somewhere like Nebraska or somewhere in the mountains, but I kind of want to stay here. So we'll see how that goes if I ever make it big. But yeah, I do have a backlist of small town rom-coms and PNR, as well as a low fantasy book. So I'm a little all over the place, but all of my books are open door, and even the more tense, serious ones always have a dash of humor, because that's just how I am in real life. I'm lighthearted, so there's got to be a few like weird little light moments in all of the books for sure. And all of my ladies are sassy, and I really can't imagine why. So but that's kind of it about me.
Okay, so I have met you guys before, but Roux is new for me, so I can't wait to hear what you have to tell us.
Well, good morning, Beth. I'm Roux Cantrell. I like Julie and April. I don't stay in my lane. I just write what appeals to me. Right now, mainly I write MC, but I have a darker mafia. I have paranormal. I do have one closed door. And I get a lot of flack from that because people expect all my books to be open door, but sometimes they're just not. I live in a small college town with my husband and my cat Monster. I have a big Hemingway cat. And let's see, I'm a grandmother. I know you would never think that, but I have two kids, both are married, and two grandchildren. I've been writing now, oh geez, June will be 10 years that I've been writing. So I have an extensive backlist. Like I said, I write MC is mainly my genre. Then Mafia, and then I have Naughty Detectives. I have a little bit of everything, really. And like April and Julie, I try to offset the seriousness of my stories with a little humor. I think you can go down the rabbit hole really fast and not have a good balance. So I try to always have a really good balance in my books. I write strong female leads, and my men are kind of jerks sometimes, but it's those book boyfriends like that that you hate to love, but you have to love them. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's me. All my books are on, most of my books, I won't lie, some of my books aren't, but most of my books are on Kindle Unlimited. And yeah, so that's me, I guess. I'm probably forgetting something, but I have a real life biker, so it's easy for me to write MC. So um I took him to a signing recently, and the ladies were asking him, "Are you on the pages of the books?" And he said, "Yes, lady, it's all me on all the pages."
Oh, that's great.
Yes,
I
and
love it.
they were like, "Well, which one would you suggest me reading?" And he's like, "Well, any of them I can help you with, from steamy to extremely spicy. How much of me do you want?" It was very humorous. It was his first signing with me, and he just jumped right in. So it was a lot of fun.
Woo!
So yeah,
I bet he's selling a lot of books for you.
yeah. So that's who I am.
But that's fabulous. I am a mom to 5 boys and a grandma with grandchildren. They just seem to pop up everywhere. I can't even count them anymore. But I love them all. So hey, I got you. I know what
Thanks.
you're talking about.
Thanks.
And it's just great. I love it.
You have
I
to. Yeah, definitely.
It's the best part of life. I'll tell you what. Raising the kids was hard. The grandbabies are fun.
Oh yeah, like right now they're trying to be quiet because we're visiting family, and the little one keeps running by whispering, and I keep snapping my fingers telling him to go back.
I had mine introduce the show, the last show I did, and I got it, grandma, I got it, grandma, and then it turned on, and he's like, oh my god. I just got a chuckle out of it.
Look, my 5-year-old grandson would take over, and we would never get back to the show. It would be dinosaurs and prehistoric times. We would never regain control again. So
Yeah, mine are getting older. I tell you what, I remember the dinosaur days. Whew, everything was dinosaurs.
Yes, everything is dinosaurs. It is 100%. So
okay, well, now that we've had our grandma chat,
yeah, sorry guys.
No, I could do it forever. I could.
Yeah.
Okay, Julie. So closing on links. Wow. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. He is a piece of work. Links. Wow. So it's Lynx and Jessica are the main characters, and he just kind of takes over. He just he sees her and he's like, okay, that's what I want. Wrap it up. I'm taking it. And she doesn't really have much to say about it, but everything kind of explodes right away.
Yep.
And
so big to go home.
Yeah. And I hate to give things away, but wow. So they meet, and I love Moose the dog. Okay, you gotta love Moose the dog too. But she gets taken captive by her ex. And well, he's got to get her back. And so there's kind of the situation. Josephine has popped in. Hi, Josephine. Good morning. So there's the story, and I'll let you explain because I don't want to give anything else away. So go ahead.
So Moose the dog is actually after my dog Max.
Oh,
yeah. Moose is in the story. He's a blue-nosed pit bull with a Great Pyrenees and Saint Bernard. that's my dog Max.
Ooh.
I did all the coloring of Max, and actually one of my teasers is my dog, but it's Moose, because I just put my dog in the story. But I did this story because my day job, I am a licensed mortgage assistant. So I kind of took my knowledge from that and just kind of threw her in as a mortgage broker. It's not all real. It's fiction, so it's fake. I had to make sure that that was said. But I just let everything go with the story. So it went really dark, really quick. And I had absolutely no control over how dark it got. And then I kind of lightened it up a bit because it was even too dark for me at one point, and I had to kind of pull back because I'm like, this is just way too much for me. And then I kind of dipped a little dark at the end, which is why someone down below won't read it, and someone on the other side didn't really like it. But yeah, I had fun writing links, and it was Jessica is a big mix of me and actually the two ladies you see, because they're full of sass. They will stand up 10 toes down to the tallest guy you'll ever see. But that's how I went with links. It was fun to write, though.
The characters were very complex.
Yes.
And they all were. Well, first I need to say, for everybody listening, that all these books are interrelated, that the motorcycle clubs all take abused women and get them out of the situations. So all three of your books are interrelated on that premise. Whoops, I just kicked my desk flying here.
Actually, my book mentions some of Roux' characters because where Roux' chapter is, it's relatively close to mine. So we kind of intertwined our series, and I believe April's book mentions one of my characters. So we kind of intertwined our chapters in the entire series so that people would, if they wanted to find out who Bama was, then they'd be like, oh, well, I've got to go here to read this one. If they wanted to find out who Sherlock was, then I got to go here and read that one. So we kind of did it so that everybody got a push in the book. That's how I wrote it anyways. So if they wanted to find out who Sherlock was, they'd go to Roux. If they wanted to find out who Bama was, they'd nip over to April and be like, okay, well, I got to find out who this guy is now.
Yes. So yeah, all the books work together. And I like that. As I was reading them, I was like, ooh, I'm getting this from this and I'm getting that from that. And so yeah, everybody, you need to read them all. And I'm telling you that, yes, you need to read them all because they were fabulous. And they all had they got very dark, and yet there's a sunrise. There's a sunrise to each of them. And there is some funny, and we got to talk about chickens later. Yes, because I lost it. But yes, there's some funny in all of them, but yours was the most complex out of all of them, and the characters really hit hard, and I love that about it. And but I'm a dark person, so yes, I had no problems going there. It was, and even the rescue scene was fabulous. I really enjoyed that. And speaking of which, Josephine is got a question here. What do each of you find the most difficult scenes to write?
For me, it would be the death of like a loved one, like a parent or even a dog. I have a really hard time writing anything to do with the death of like a parent or a grandparent. So I kind of tend to steer away from death, period, unless it's of a bad guy. If it's a bad guy, I have no problem sitting there and torturing him with toenails and everything like that. But if it's a loved one, I can't do. It breaks me, and I have to kind of leave the book alone before I can go back and write anything.
Okay,
April?
April?
That's tough. It depends on the book and the characters. Different affect me in different ways sometimes, but it's usually like the deeply emotional scenes where one of the characters trying to have some sort of breakthrough, but it's usually like you got to go really low before you can come back up. So sometimes I get in a really dark place myself when I'm writing these things. And it can be really tough to work through them as but that's the thing, like I'm trying to write them through whatever this difficult thing is. Like the sex scenes are easy, some of the fight scenes are super fun to write, but I think like the emotional parts are what are really difficult, especially when they're kind of at rock bottom. um, and then there's some things that like I write about some things that I've either experienced myself or someone close to me has experienced, and so when I throw those in there and start, I realize I don't try to insert real life in, but then when I realize I'm writing something from a place of knowledge and then I'm writing it through and it hits me that I'm like, this fucking sucks. But I'm like, this go with it. But I mean, but it kind of, pulls up all of those old emotions stuff that you've already processed as a real person. And it's difficult, but then like my hope is that, that jumps out from the page, and like I don't want to really emotionally damage somebody, but I hope that the readers can feel what that character is feeling, and kind of ride that roller coaster with them. But I think those are probably the hardest for me because I get so immersed in them.
Okay. Rue?
First, I'm going to apologize if y'all can hear dogs in the background.
You'll probably hear mine. Don't worry about it. We're pet friendly
I don't know
here.
what's setting the little tiny dogs off right now. But anyway, they're little. They're Shih Tzus. They're yippy. But anyway, I digress. I always said I didn't have a problem writing anything until I started writing my Mafia series, and then I realized that um, I had a hard time torturing people. I enjoy the hell out of it. Don't get me wrong. I do, and I think I can do it well. But it's that emotional aspect of it of the healing process for the character, the survival instinct of the character. I have books that I've written and I've gone back and reread, and I cry. I still like get emotional when I write the books or read the stories. I think that making sure you have a good level of I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. Like when like you really go down that dark hole, and you like you put yourself in that situation, because as an author, I think that you have to put yourself in that situation, and you have to walk in that character's shoes while you're writing that story. So you, like April and Julie said, you pull yourself down into it. So you have to find your own way back. So as you find your own way back out of that storyline, you're rebuilding that character. And so I I think that's really my toughest. I can kill anybody off. That doesn't bother me. And I guess I look at and I do put an aspect of real life in all my books. So I have a whole plethora of people that I sit down with. Like we'll go to dinner with friends, and I'll say, okay, this is what I'm writing. How would you handle this, guys? What would you do in this situation? And we really hash it out down to the nitty gritty. And so you really have, you break it down, and like I said, you put yourself in it, but it's emotional turmoil for me. It's not really tortured anybody or killing anybody, and I can write family stuff that doesn't matter, but um I get squirrel for a moment when things are going on the side of me. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm like, stop over here to the right. Um, anyway, so I think it's put myself in that um emotional mind grid, that when you have to climb back out of it, and I think if you um don't understand how to pull yourself out of it, your characters can stay like really down in the bottom of it. So I probably didn't answer that question right at all.
There's no wrong answers here. No, you did great.
I have stuff to the right going on, and I have things going down below on the left, and I'm just kind of like, don't squirrel it. So anyway,
Oh, I'm always doing that. It's like, zoop, there I go, and I have to bring
yeah,
myself back. Oh,
it's like, yeah, there's just a lot right now around me. So
I'm
do
always
this.
chasing squirrels.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
All
Well,
kind of
like,
squirrely.
so like I'm upstairs at my sister's home, just for y'all to have a reference point. And so to my right is this beautiful upstairs window, and there's ducks flying by over the lake, and down below the dogs and the kids, and my daughter-in-law is trying to keep everybody quiet downstairs. So there's stuff that's like, I'm just like, I gotta go like this. Because when they something like there's pelicans right now, I'm like, oh, birds. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Ah, oh.
Real life with Roux, y'all. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fabulous. I love it.
These squirrels are out of range.
Oh, okay. So, Nina says, Julie, I love your newest book, and links is hers. Although she spelled it wrong. Oh, okay. She said, sorry for misspelling his name.
That's okay.
It's all good. We have animals. We spell wrong. This is just, we keep it real around here. Okay. So, yes, your book is fabulous. And, April, she's starting to read yours tonight. So let's move on to April now. Or I'll talk forever on one thing. So yours is Defended by Bama. And oh my gosh, this was a great book too.
April's always on top of things, man.
Yes, she has the book to show us. This book I loved too. Oh my goodness. So here we have Bama and Brooklyn. And I love that name, Brooklyn. That's a great name for a character. And Brooklyn is married to a shitty cop who beats on her. And she meets Bama's sister, Allie, at the library. I love that. You meet somebody at the library. The library is a good place to go. Oh, and Roux, she's getting your book next. You should, Nina, because it's really good. You're going to love it.
Thank you.
So they meet at the library, and back to what I said before, the motorcycle groups, all help these battered women. Well, Brooklyn's husband is a real flaming asshole. I just have to say. I mean, I'm Mr. Badass Cop, and you can't make any noise in my house. What the hell? She can't even stir her coffee, because if she clanks the spoon on the coffee cup, he's going to beat the hell out of her. I'd bash him upside the noodle with that damn coffee cup. Oh, that just really pissed me off. To see this girl just trying to stir her coffee and not make any noise. I mean, this just really riled me. Now, you could tell I went over all the books this morning again because I read them a while ago and I had to refresh myself. And I was like, oh, what an asshole. Okay, now see there, the squirrel went, and I just okay. So I'm coming back again. So so Bama goes to his sister's house, and he's surprised because here sits this poor beaten up woman and her little girl, whose name is Sadie, and that's another pretty name. You come up with wonderful names, honey. And she's like, "Here, you have to take these poor people," and he's like, "What the hell?" So he knows that his motorcycle club does this, but he's just never been put in this position before. So he takes them with him, and next thing you know, he's buying beds and buying clothes and taking care of. Then he falls in love with her, and I'm just going to give too much of the story away. Okay, so I'm going to stop now. Anyway, go ahead, honey, take over.
Well, first, she was not married to the cop.
Oh, that's right. They're not married. No, she even had the
original-
baby's birth certificate without his name on it. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to shut up now.
But I mean, it's kind of a trivial thing, but I try to never say never when it comes to what I'll write. But I draw a hard line. There will never be cheating in any of my books. Like, I can't do it. So I had to set it up in a way where in my brain it wasn't going to be cheating. She was just taking off. So
that's very good. Don't compromise your values. I like that.
He is a flaming asshole, though, and he's the worst. And there's sadly some real life stuff in there because I mean, it's kind of controversial, but a lot of officers, it's kind of a boys' club, and they do look out for each other, and they will turn their head when it comes to things like domestic violence. So that sadly was such a realistic part of the book, which it seems like you're kind of writing these far-fetched things sometimes and a little over the top, but that was probably the most realistic part of the book, and that's sad. But the thing is she's stuck, and just like so many other women who've been in those kind of positions, it always starts so slow and so small, and you think, oh, this only happened one time, and then he won't do it again, and it kind of escalates, and you get to a point where you feel like you have nowhere to go. You have no options. And it makes me wildly upset when people are always like, why didn't they just leave? Why don't you just shut your fucking mouth? Because until you're in that position, you can't speak on it, and you don't understand the psychological aspect that goes through that too. So I tried to convey that part of it so that people understood, like, she was in a really bad place and she didn't know what to do, but then she kind of waffled. She did meet Allie. And I love Allie. Like, her character is just so fun, and she's so like supportive of like all the other ladies and stuff, and she just sticks it to everybody else. But she meets her and runs into her again after the fact, and she's like, let me help you, like, I can help you. And Brooklyn at first is kind of like, that's crazy, no, I can't. But then she's like, you know what, maybe let me just talk to her. And then poor Bama, his sister, like, he moves to Alabama to be with his club. It's kind of a newer chapter, part of the Royal Bastards, which there's like 150 Royal Bastards books. There's so many authors that participate in the series. And they do encourage collaboration. So that's why, like, we kind of like have this little like connection between ours. And so he goes down to Alabama, but Allie refuses to leave Georgia. And so he goes to visit her quite a bit, and she tells him, hey, I need you to come up here and help me with something. So he thinks he's going to be helping her like move furniture or something. And then he gets there, and there's a woman and her child, and his sister's like, hey, I need you to like take care of this. But of course, that's the thing. He's like, well, I'm not going to turn them away. Like, I can't leave her. Like, look at her face, So he takes her back, and then that's where I connect Julie's character. She's in Ontario, Northern Ontario, I think. So I mentioned Crown, and it's a woman. She is in one of the harlots, I think, right?
Nope.
No, okay.
She's a past member in the RBMC.
But so she's a woman, which is super cool. I love that. And so I mentioned her related to the VP of my chapter in Alabama. And so he's like, let me get in touch with my cousin. We're going to hook you up and we're basically going to give you an all new identity. You're going to need new names. And we'll move you somewhere. But for now, we're going to keep you here. But Bama's like, no, the clubhouse is no place for this little girl, so I'm just going to take them back to my house. And of course, Brooklyn at first, she's like, okay, do I stay in the clubhouse where I just saw an orgy and there's there and I have my child, or do I go with this man who I just met, who's clearly an outlaw? Like, what in the hell? But she's like, okay, he seems all right. His sister's nice. I'm going to take a chance and I'll just go with him. And yeah, she ends up having like the best night of sleep in the first time in years. And they slowly start to develop. And in the meantime, you're wondering, like, she's freaking out because she's like, did this guy file a missing police report? Is he looking for me? And so the club is checking on that. And of course he doesn't file because like he worked her over pretty good. So in the meantime, they're trying to like erase her identity before he ever does, because they don't know, maybe he's going to wait a few days, let stuff heal up and then file a missing report, So in the meantime, like she's hiding out at this guy's house in the next state over, and she's, wondering, is he going to try to come find me? Is he going to like send his friends after me? Like what's going to happen? And then in the meantime, of course, the club has its own problems with a rival club and things kind of end up intertwining at some point. And like, I got things smooth sailing and then shit hits the fan. So I don't want to give too much after that, but yeah. And this one, like I have another series that's MC. That was the main one that I've been working on for a while now. And it's obviously dark romance. It's still outlaw bikers, and there's violence and some torture and stuff, but there were scenes in Defended by Bama that I had never written into a book before. They're mentioned, but there's some things that happen on page in this book that I've not put in before. So this one's a smidge darker. It's probably the darkest that I've written to date. But so it was a little bit harder. And then the domestic violence aspect of it was definitely hard to get through. But again, I wanted to convey like how that stuff actually happens and, the emotions and the shame and everything that the women feel and go through, and that's something that she struggles with for a while, even through the book. And Bama keeps trying to tell her, like, he's such a simple guy. And he's like, yeah, no, that guy's just a piece of crap, and she's like, yeah, sure. I know that, but also like, maybe I could have done something different. And he's like, no, he could have just not been a piece of crap. Like, so, and that's the thing, like, is very simple, but also in a motorcycle club, and he's never been in a like relationship, like he's never had feelings like that for somebody. So he's not really sure how to manage being, loyal to his club, but also wanting to be with her and protect her, so he makes a few oversights that end up getting her into some trouble. And then they have to figure out how to unravel all of that. But yeah, it was a fun story to write. And Roux helped me with a lot of it, because I told her, I was like, listen, when I got invited to do Royal Bastards, it was really cool for me, because you have to be invited in. Crimson Sin is the owner of the world, so you can't just decide to write in it. You have to be asked in. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to say no to this opportunity, but I feel like I'm not quite as dark as a lot of these books, so I'm going to need some help from an expert, And if you would have told me, 3 or 4 years ago that Roux Cantrell was going to be helping one of my books, I would have just squealed and passed out. But
You did.
it's very helpful. And so
It's
we,
my pleasure.
but it was really fun having her help me too. So, but then, and the epilogue was kind of an afterthought, but apparently I've gotten a lot of messages about the epilogue, and my editor is actually the one, like, I finished the story and she finished her edits. And then I was like, does it feel wrapped up to you? Because I'm going to jump into the next story right where this one ends. I said, but I still want to make sure that it feels kind of tied up, you know? And she was like, you know what you could do? You could write the epilogue from the daughter's point of view. And I was like, I've never done such a thing, you know? And she was like, you don't have to. She was like, I'm just throwing, you asked me, I threw it out there. So I was like, all right, let me whip something up. So I sat down and I tried to switch gears into the little girl's mindset. And that's what came out. And I was sobbing and I was like, is this going to really piss everybody off, or is it going to be okay? But because it was really emotional, but I think it still tied up the story really well. And I told my editor, I was like, all right, so that was a good call, apparently, because it was tied up, but people still left feeling like deeply emotional about the whole story because of the way it was ended. So, but it was fun to write, I'm really excited to get to the next story of it, but it won't be coming out until September of next year. So
you just leave everybody hanging there. I hate that.
So
I hate that. I catch hell for doing that. I think we all do. You know, when somebody likes a story and then it's like, why did you make me wait so long for the next one?
well,
Like you're just supposed to be able to instantly just, okay, here's the next one. Here you go.
well,
Yeah.
some of it, I mean, I don't have a ton of control over this one because, again, when you can write outside of the run, but the way Royal Bastards is, each year you have a run. And so you have a sign-up sheet and there's a release like every week or every other week. And they don't start like we do. The first few months of the year are cover releases and blurb releases and stuff like that. And then you get into the new releases throughout the rest of the year. So like there's a system to it all and you have to wait your turn basically. So it's just kind of where the cards fell. Plus, I probably could have signed up for an earlier one, but I already had pre-orders set for my other series. And so like I couldn't mess those up. So I took the later date, but this one just released in August of this year. So September of next year, it's approximately a year away. So, because for now, because I'm trying to juggle the two, I'm going to just stick with one Royal Bastards a year. If something crazy happened and I just started selling so many books that I could quit my day job, then maybe I could write more. Because you can write other books in between, and they also have the Royal Harlots now, and like they have holiday books if you want to do those. So, but for now, just because I do have a full-time job on top of this, I don't want to do too much that I can't juggle because I want to make sure I can produce a good story for the readers. So I don't need to try to rush through it.
Okay. Sounds good. Nina says, for all three of you, have you ever written a character that is not a lead character, but still one of your favorites and you had to kill them off?
Yep.
No.
That actually
Not yet.
happens
Not
in a
yet.
couple of my books. And I was very sad.
It happened in Bama and I was not happy.
No.
I know who you're talking about too.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, no. And she was
I
like, it's got to happen.
Oh, yeah. Roux was like, wait, what the fuck? I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. because I was getting emails like, April D. Berry added to her Google folder. It's like, ooh, let me go read it. And I'm reading and I was like, no, hell no, what the fuck? And she's like, but it has to happen. And I was like, well, you could have like just maimed him or something. Oh no, let's just kill him off. And
I can't think of his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about when he was guarding them.
yes,
Yes. I was all pissed off about that too. Yes,
still mad. I'm still mad at you. Angry.
There was another one that a lot of people were screaming at me about, but I was like, listen, I'm going to redeem myself. I promise. Just relax. So, and the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, I guess, but the odd thing, I know somebody named Glenda in real life, and her man is with a club. She rides a bike herself, and so she's actually the inspiration for Glenda. And she messaged me after she read it and was like, what the fuck, man? And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, but don't worry. In book 2, you're going to love me. Like, everything's going to be fine. So, but.
It better be. It better be.
She was like, oh my God. You got my ass kicked. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, but
I give both of them a hard time. Like the whole time they're writing, I'm like, where's my book? Where's my chapters so I can read them?
So
And yeah.
I didn't want to turn down the opportunity to do RBMC, but I already had a pre-order set for Jackal at the end of May. And then this book, like, she was like, can you have a book ready by the middle of August? And I said, yes. And then I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? Because it was so close together and I was already writing in my other series. And I was like, I'm so stupid. Like, I can't believe I signed up for this. I'm never going to do it. So having Roux in there, like in the live document as I wrote chapters and having her be like, okay, and then what happened, it really like lit a fire under my butt. So I had to sit down and keep writing so that she didn't yell at me. So I got it done. I got it done on time. I got my arcs out on time. Like, it actually went better than expected. And I feel like the story was well-rounded. So, but I was definitely panicked. Julie got a lot of messages from me like every other day that I was going to fall on my ass and I wasn't going to get it done. And I was freaking out. So, like that, the majority of what she does for me as my PA is listen to me have a nervous breakdown every couple of days. So between the two of them, that's how the book got done. So, but yeah, it was tight.
You did
Well, I
great.
need to say good morning to MJ and good morning to Vivita. Thank you for stopping in and watching the show.
Morning, ladies.
Hi.
Oh my. Yeah, we're just sitting here having a good old time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you had somebody lighting a fire under you. That's always good.
Yeah.
I got a mean whip, so
She likes the whip, so.
Yeah, I do.
Dominatrix in all leather, cracking the whips. I was like,
I am. Julie's new book that's getting ready to come out next week, Julie?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Yeah, Friday. Kuda. I stayed on her like I'm talking hard. And she just kept saying, I promise, I'm getting there. And I was like, I want to know where you're at. But they do the same thing. They help me out too. Like I rely. There's a couple other ladies with Julie and her PA services, and we're a really good crew. And I think we keep each other on our toes, and we're a good support system. But we don't sugarcoat anything. Like we're straight out. If you ask it, you better be ready for the answer, because we're not going to go, oh yeah, darling, that's good. No, we're not. rewrite,
No, we don't
start
sugarcoat.
over. So, but I think we
Sugar's
keep
only
each
for
other.
Tammy.
I think being in the Royal Bastards world, the three of us has been a good experience because bad or good when we're writing, we know what's happening in all the chapters in the world as a whole, and we were able to help each other um, over any kind of hurdles that we had or things like that. So I'm appreciative of these ladies because of how much they have my back and how much they help me, because I sometimes you hit that wall, and you need to figure out where you're going next. And they're really, it's great to be able to make that call, ask for that help. So they're a great couple of ladies right there that help me out a lot. And I do
You had
appreciate
to
that. Yeah.
you had to kick me over the hurdle in links because I got stuck. I was like, I don't even know where I'm going. It's like done for me, and I don't know where I'm going. You're like, let me read it.
Yeah. And sometimes all it takes is one of us to read something and go, all right, well, you're fine. Just, you know, step back and look at it like this. And then it clicks again. But
Yeah.
I think we're fortunate that we have each other and that we have a good crew. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to
You're
find that in
very
the,
lucky. You're very
yeah,
fortunate.
yeah, it's hard to find that it's hard to find that in life, but it's extremely hard to find that in the book community. You know.
Being a writer
Yeah.
is such a lonely gig, and people don't realize, and it it's hard to find trustworthy people that are really there to support you, not to just either like use you or keep you down. And that's so sad to say, but it's happened to me personally, and I've seen it happen to so many other people. So when you do find a good group of people, you do have to just latch on like a fungus and not let go.
Are you that green mossy fungus that's
I
soft and
I
cushy? And
so like you can't get rid of me.
it's like a bad rash.
I'm so annoying. I probably do feel like a rash sometimes.
You know. Look, when I don't hear from them, I'm like, what's wrong with them? They're too quiet. But
I
yeah.
went on vacation last week, and so I was trying to disconnect from everything because I'm really bad about not taking breaks, and I get burnout and then I get writer's block. So I was like, okay, I'm going on a family vacation, so this is a really good opportunity to just try to unplug. But I did, like, I was like, man, I feel like I'm so out of the loop with them. And then it was
Then you got
Thursday
drunk
or
text.
Friday morning. I sent Julie like 20 messages in a row, and they all, none of them really, like were connected to the other. It was like one thing was talking about this, and then oh, this happened, and oh, I need to check on this. And she just answers me like just boom, 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 no problem. So I was like, did you miss me?
I missed you.
We got the drunk text.
Yeah, we did get the drunk text. Yeah,
We did get
yeah,
the drunk text.
yeah. Cocktails on the beach. I was jealous.
So I my phone, and they were having like a nice professional
Uh,
conversation, and I was like, I'm drunk on the beach. Like, can't help you here because my brain's not
yeah.
but
Oh,
I'm
that's fabulous.
I went. Yeah, I went on a family trip right before April did for a week, and we did a houseboat, and I was like, oh, I may not have Wi-Fi. Well, let me just tell you, I when I tell you I barely had Wi-Fi, but I was so bored out of my mind because we had no TV, we had nothing. We're just on 407,000 acres of lake with just six of us. And every time I'd get a blip, I was texting them, "Hey girls, what are y'all doing?" I was like I'm
What?
so attached to them that it's like I was like looking at everybody else, going, "Yeah, just go over there." Hey, I got Wi-Fi. Let me text them. Yeah, that's bad. It's bad when you're attached to your friends like that.
Oh no, that's perfect. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So. It would be bad if we all lived in the same place.
oh
It'd
god.
be really
Oh.
bad.
That would never happen. There would be no more books. It would be
No,
terrible.
No, it'd only be alcohol induced, whatever.
Writers retreat.
Alcohol and food
We
would
actually
be
Yeah.
good.
writing on the writers retreat or just like hanging out. Like either way is fine, but
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
uh,
have to figure out how to meet in the middle, Julie's the hard one. We got to get her out of Ontario.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm.
You guys are just lovely. So now I have to talk about heat.
Oh, I'm gonna disappear really quick now.
So much.
Diamond and Sayer, they
Oh
are
yeah,
they are
yeah.
just fabulous. And wow. So they meet at the casino night thing, and I'm thinking, okay, usually, so you threw me off right away because usually it's like the head of the group is the one who gets the girl.
Right. I don't play
But
that
it
game.
wasn't. It wasn't. So I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't play that game. I just, but I also let the characters tell me who they want and what they want. So,
Well, I liked that. And then I'm sorry, but the chicken coop was the best part for me. I
oh
love the
yeah,
chicken coop story. I laughed till I thought I'd just, well, I laughed till I thought I'd pee my pants. Okay. I mean, I was giggling like a fool. You wrote that so well. I can just picture it completely in my head. Just these chickens and the feathers flying and the fire extinguisher and the whole deal. And I was just giggling like a fool. I'm sorry. I love that part of the book. It was probably my favorite part of the book, which is a silly thing, really. But it just had me laughing that much.
oh look, I laughed too. Like as I wrote it, it just took on a life of its own, because it was just supposed to be, just a little oops. I ran off the road, got back on the road, took the turn too fast because I ride. And let me just tell you, I've hit a couple of turns way too fast and wound up in tall, like wheatgrass, just running on the side of the road while the rest of the pack is just looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm really good. I'm really good on taking my Harley off road. And so it was just supposed to, but it did. I'm like you, I felt like it was like one of the best parts of the book, but
Oh,
it was right there in the middle of some heavy scenes. So it kind of lightened it up a little bit, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it because I envisioned the chickens everywhere too. So,
yeah, it just, I don't know. It just made me laugh. And growing up on a farm, I don't know, maybe that's it. I was always at my grandparents' farm all the time, and so I could just perfectly see this happening. And I even my book, I didn't I put in a scene where some dumbass lets the chicken coop door open, and they're out there chasing chickens everywhere, and it was like, oh my God, that's so funny because I too had a chicken coop thing in my book. Hi, Carrie. Good morning, hon.
morning, Carrie.
So yeah, it just, I don't know, it just struck me and I just couldn't stop laughing. There I am at like 2 o'clock in the morning reading this book and just sitting in there giggling for the whole world, but yes, I love that part of the book. But they really, I read yours first out of the three of your books. I got yours first. I'm not sure if that was, it worked well to read it in that order because Diamond really set the stage for how, it was working with the saving the women and children.
Yeah.
So it, how they had the truck with the hiding space and everything. And then she called the royal bastards for help. So that was my first glimpse into the royal bastards, was from the royal harlots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that kind of really, it was nice that I read it in that order because the royal harlots were really seemed to, like I said, set the stage for the royal bastards if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
it was nice that I read it in that order. And
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, that's okay. I'm just kind of babbling now. Uh, so love the subtitles. Oh, no, thank you. I think I don't know. I'm oh my head. So uh, take it away, Rue. Tell us a
Oh.
little bit about about Heat.
So Heat is my first book in the Royal Harlots world, and it's a new world attached to the Royal Bastard. So I've written three books already in the Royal Bastards. Hellbent and Hot as Hell are two main stories, and then I have Hell on an Angel, which is a holiday story. So you see those characters in Heat because the premise to connecting the two series, the two worlds, is that the harlots come under the protection of the bastards, just to become a sister club to them. So in Heat, you see Diamond reluctantly abide by the Duchess, who is the national president over the Royal Harlots. So the decree comes out and they're told, all the chapters are told, this is what's happening and you're going to do it. So she decides it's time to um, meet them, say, okay, we're going to work together. And she invites them to the casino night because my chapter, they move abused women, children, even men, because even men can be abused. People forget that a lot, that anybody can be in an abusive situation. So Julie's chapter in the Harlots, which Kuda is the first book in that one, they help battered women and children as well. So I connect with them, the Ontario chapter and the Royal Bastards in Heat. So I make those connections with the books. April didn't want to overextend herself and write with the Harlots this year, so I wasn't able to connect with her. I didn't. And so I have to stay off the squirrel thing. I'm sorry, y'all. So, so I thought the characters were really complex. I really liked them. Diamond is ex Witsack. So if anybody doesn't know what Witsack is, that's witness protection. So when she was younger, she went into witness protection, and then she left Witsack because there was nothing, and I really do. I don't know how you felt about it, Beth, when you read that first part of the book, but I really put her there, and I like to. I don't want to make a reader have to like put themselves in a horrible situation when reading, and I do write third person, so it's more of a narrative. But like it is, like her whole identity was gone. Everything was gone from her. She was stripped bare. And so when the story begins, she's just sitting basically in a crappy apartment, looking at dirty beige walls, and she's like a box of dry cereal, and she's got to figure out who she is again. But she finally leaves, and that's when she meets some of the other girls that are in her chapter, and they start their chapter. So she's from an abusive situation. So the other thing that the harlots do, my chapter does, is they have the Haven House, where it's for aged out children, traumatic children of trauma. And so that's what the casino night is. They're raising money for everything they need for the Haven houses for the kids. And that's where they connect, and she meets Sayer. And like you said, Sayer is not like the president. He's not even an officer in the Royal Bastards in that chapter of Montreal. But I don't always do like the president first on any of my books when they're MC. I just kind of go with the flow and whoever's talking to me. But these guys, I really like the complexity of moving the mom and the two kids. And I love the connection between Sayer and Diamond. I thought they had a lot of electricity between them, because they're both very alpha, and but I liked how he was that his character bent to her a little more than what you normally see in male dominant world. um but I love the little girls. I have to tell you, I loved writing the little girls when they were whispering when the mom had them in the front of the cab of the truck and the curtains pulled and Sayer and Diamond are still sleeping and they keep giggling and peeking through, wanting to know when they're going to wake up. And so I thought that was really sweet. So if anybody's not familiar, there is a class of 18 wheelers that is called an Cascadia. So Cascadia has an apartment in the back. So it's not like a regular 18 wheeler where you just have a little cot behind the two seats. It actually has um, a table and chairs that drops down and become a bed. It has a little bathroom. It has a small kitchenette. And so it's a living quarter. So, but in the story, in the trailer itself, I created a hidden room. So if they're transporting someone that they absolutely are afraid will get grabbed and brought back to who they're running from, I'll hide them in there. The characters will hide them in there. See, I said I because I put myself in that situation. What will it feel like to be stuffed in that little bitty space? How long are you going to be trapped in that little bitty space? What if something happens and no, they something happens to the people operating the truck and me and my children are stuck locked in this little bitty space. So I try to add the complexity of it. So I enjoyed writing it. um I'm trying to think, I'm trying not to give away too much of it. It's really hard not to.
It is.
um but I mean, you brought up the chicken coop, so that was really. So I mean, yeah. So chicken coop, that splits it up. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. I forgot you were reading Heat. I'm gonna be honest, and I thought I told you to read like Hellbent or Hot as Hell, and now I'm trying to like go back over Heat in my head at the same time. But you know what? It's such a to and fro with Sayer and Diamond, because they're so the chapters are 2.5 hours away. I do so much research when I do a book. Like I'm a research whore. I literally just immerse myself in the research. So in um the MC world, and these ladies know the MC world too. Outside of writing books, they're very familiar with it in real life. Um, for the way it is down where I live, and I think it's a cross thing. You have to live so close to be in a chapter. Okay, if there's not a chapter within, I think it's got to be under 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. Then you're a nomad for the club, and um, you can go with one chapter that's closest to you and do most of your runs and whatever you want to do, but you can get called on by any chapter in your vicinity to help. So I had to make sure my royal bastards and my royal harlots were close enough that they could be connected. So with Sayer being with the Royal Bastards, he's in Montreal and Diamond's in Quebec City. And Julie, am I correct? That's 2 hours, 2.5 hours,
Roughly, yeah.
roughly right there.
Roughly, yeah.
So their problem is, okay, we're falling for each other, but we have to be loyal to our club, our chapters, our clubs. So how are you going to make this work? So there's that underlying tension that's constantly like boiling there. That both of them trying to wonder how this is going to work out. And then yeah, we have some fight scenes and we have some hard running and some suspense when Seven shows up and and it adds that level of secrecy and how intense the situation really is trying to get this mom and her two kids somewhere else. And I'm also crossing um borders, like I'm pulling them from Canada going down into the States. And so I don't know. So
You
anybody
also
got,
cross provincial borders too.
yeah. So, you have to research all that. I do a lot of research. Anybody has a question for me? I like answering the questions. I don't really like talking about, I'd rather somebody, ask
Uh,
me. I'm really bad at talking about my own books. Like I'm listening to April and she's so fluent with it and everything. I'm like, bitch, please. I just want somebody to
I'm glad you think so because I'm totally winging it.
I let know, like y'all may not know, Julie does not like to talk. Like Julie, I'll voice Julie and she'll text me back, and I'm like, and the first time I ever heard Julie's voice, I was expecting this soft, sweet voice, and messages, voice message me, and I'm like, "Are you not feeling well?" She goes, "No, this is my voice," and I was like, "Really?" I was like, "She has such a deep voice, you know." I'm like, "That's a very commanding voice,"
I love
and yeah, I love her voice. But it, like when you see pictures of Julie and all, you're like, "Oh, I bet she's so sweet and demure, and she's got this
Nope.
little voice." No, she doesn't.
Nope.
No, she
She
doesn't.
doesn't.
Not at all.
Yeah, no. And I prefer her texting me because I really wouldn't want her, she's my PA, not just my friend and my fellow author, but she's my PA. I don't want her fussing at me in that voice. I'd probably be like, I quit. I'm out. God, exit the stage right. So anyway, but yeah, so if anybody has a question, I would love to answer anything about the book. I just, yeah, I'm not really great, but I do mention you will meet a lot of characters, and I apologize for that, but when I write the first book in a new series, I tend to introduce, I may not have a lot of interaction with all the characters, but I make sure that I rotate in at least 4 or 5 characters that I think are pertinent to the series and that will probably be seen as a main character, but I haven't picked which one. So that's why you get a lot. I don't, Julie, I don't pick. I'm like, okay, that one talked more. Our editor, me and Julie have the same editor, and she was like, "Oh, is the next book going to be Fifi?" And that's the one with the chickens, and the fire extinguisher. And I was like, "I
Fifi
don't
and the
think."
chickens.
Yeah, I said, "I don't think it's going to be Fifi." And she was like, "Oh," and I was like, oops. She goes, yeah, I really think it should be Phoebe. I said, well, Phoebe's not talking to me. And I was like, you know how this goes. You're an author too. And she was like, really? And she kept on, it's not going to be Phoebe. It's like, it's not going to be Phoebe. I'm sorry. And so, yeah. And she was just like, okay. I was like, it's the chickens. That's what did it, the whole chicken coop thing. So, but anyway.
That's a fabulous title, though. Fifi and the chickens.
Phoebe and the chickens. So, oh my God, but that anyway. Yeah. So everybody's gonna get the book, and they're just gonna go in the search engine and go chicken, so they can just skip right to the chickens. So yeah, and I will tell you that I've grown up, and some people will be like, "Oh my God, what?" So my parents, I was raised in New Orleans, and then there's 2 sets of kids. It's me and my older sister. I'm 60, my sister's 64, and then we have 2 younger sisters that are like, I think 54 and 52. And so when they were in elementary school, my dad decided he didn't want to live in the city anymore, and I was graduating high school, and they moved like an hour away to the country. They moved way up north of where we lived, and I lived with a friend and her family for my senior year because I was like, I'm not moving my senior year. You're not taking me to the sticks. Well, I would visit, and my dad raised game chickens. Uh, and and then we had hens, laying hens and things like that. They had 25 acres. And so I can honestly tell you, I have seen what happens when chickens get loose. And it is crazy. And then we raised Australian shepherds, and they're herding dogs. Have you ever seen some dogs try to herd some chickens?
Yes, yes,
Look,
yes.
it becomes feathers and fur. So yeah. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with that. So, but anyway, again, I'm pulling in life thing. Or- but
My
yeah,
son has an Australian Shepherd that he just got, and it's just this little ball of fluff.
yes,
But I'll tell you, it's spastic. It is the most spastic little dog. I love it to pieces.
they need a lot of exercise, a lot of
Yes.
exercise. So they're is it a male or a female? We're getting on dogs.
It's a
Y'all.
male. Its
Little
name's
male.
Quill. Quill,
Oh,
like
I
a
love
quill
it.
pen.
I
I
love
love it.
that. Yes.
And I'll tell you, I come away bloody every time because he tries to climb me. I mean,
So
he's so
I
happy
would.
to see me.
Yes. How old is he?
He's about maybe, well, they got him the same time my grandson was born, which blew my mind. Okay, you're gonna have two babies now. So he's 7 months now.
Okay. Well, I would start taking him at least to a groomer if y'all aren't doing his nails by yourself, because they'll get really out of control, and then he'll tear you up.
Oh yeah, he
You know.
does. He does.
Yeah.
Because he just, like I said, he tries to climb me. It's like, the grandma woman's here. And hello, Quilly. How are you today? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
he's fabulous.
they're very intelligent dogs.
Oh my
They're
God, he's so smart.
Yes, Highland. My little sisters used to run out of the fence, and y'all can use the story in a book. I won't, but they used to run out of the little fence area to go across the field to the barn to let my dad know whatever my mom needed. And the dogs would just lay and watch them, and they'd get halfway, like they'd get like half, probably a city block away, because 25 acres, and then they would just bolt and they'd tear off after my little sisters, and they would grab them by their pants legs and drag them back up to the fenced in part of the yard by the house, because they didn't want them leaving the fenced in yard, and they would scream and howl, and dogs would just drag them back. And we just thought that was the best thing ever. I'd say, hey, you need to go get dad, knowing dad didn't need to come back up to the house, but I wanted to watch the dogs tackle him and drag him back in the house. Because I was that older sister, y'all. I was that mean older sister. Yeah. I was teaching them
Oh, that's
life
fabulous.
lessons. Yeah.
He's a fabulous little puppy. I can't wait to see how he comes out. They have him in the training classes now.
Oh, awesome.
So
That's
he's going to be great. He is. He's very smart. I mean, I noticed right away, I would say, sit, and put my hand on his head. Boom, he'd sit down. But then he'd be like, I need her again. But he would listen just right away. He just couldn't settle, though. He was just little. He was like 3 months old already. And he listened very well. And they had him in training. So he's going to be a good boy. And hey, his name is Quill. That's just so cool.
It is. It's very cool.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you all one last question, and we'll go around. What are you working on now? What can we expect in the future? So we'll start with Julie and go around the circle.
I have my first Royal Harlots book, Cuda, coming out on October 3rd.
Yay!
And I have a closed door short story coming out in December called Times Long Past.
Ooh, yay! Very good.
It's another Pfeiffer one, but there's not going to be linked to any club. It's just a meet cute, no smexy time type thing. So that's what I have on deck for me. And then next year is just a whole new year, and I have no clue what I'm going to do.
Well, hey, then you're all wide open to do anything you want. That's excellent.
Well, I do know I have a secret series that we haven't even announced yet. And I have another RBMC, and I'm going to try and get my last book in my rom-com series written and out, but that's it so far.
Oh, and she had nothing to do, she said.
Right. Such a liar.
I wish I had that much nothing to do.
And that's on top of wrangling us,
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to all that. I'm going to be checking it out. And then how about you, April? What are you up to?
So I'm currently writing the last 2 books of my Atlanta series for Destiny's Enforcers. It's not been officially announced yet because I'm going by a schedule with an anthology, but there will be a 3.5 for TMC that's coming out in March that coincides with TNC. And then Hawk, which is book 4, which is already everybody on pre-order. President of DMC Atlanta, and his book is coming out April of 2026. That sounds so weird to say, but it's April 2026. And then we already have Guarding Glinda is my next RBMC book that's coming out in September of next year. And somewhere in there, I'm trying to smush in a new story for DEMC. That'll be like my newsletter magnet. So it's going to be short and sweet, but it's going to be a way to introduce the national chapter origination. So I got to do that sometime in there. And I also have plans to write a prequel to the Atlanta chapter. If you've read DEMC, it's not a surprise. It's actually in the blurb, I think, but the president of the chapter gets killed in like the first chapter or 2.
I was so disappointed.
And and that the rest of the story is kind of has a lot to do with finding who the whoever assassinated the president. And his wife, who was the first lady of the club, is such a pivotal character in the whole series. And so you're still seeing her try to still be a strong woman through that whole series, but also learning like her husband's not in charge anymore, but she's still like, she's Mama Hen. She's kind of like the clubhouse mom, and she always will be. Everybody loves her, and she's tough, but she's a very loving character. And so I want to write how her and that president originally got together. So it'll be well before he ever gets killed, but I do want to write their story. And so that will be like a prequel kind of throwback thing, but I don't have a date set for that yet because I have to figure out how and when I'm going to make that happen. And somewhere down the road, I will be writing the Bristol chapter for Destiny's Enforcers. And you do meet some of those characters in the Atlanta chapter. And so I've already had some demands, but like Roux, I don't start with the president. I never will start with the president. You got to wait till the end for that guy. So, I'm not really sure which character will be the first one of the next chapter, but he's already been introduced at some point. So.
Wow, busy ladies.
Oh, and I do have a secret thing with them.
Yeah.
Okay, Roux, you're back.
My sister tried to call me and it threw me out of and then I couldn't find my way back in. And yeah, okay. So I'm back.
Hi. And so what are you up to?
I'm a workaholic, both in my day job. I'm a hairdresser 3 days a week, and then the rest of the week I do my author stuff. I am really bad at everything but doing the writing part of it. So I think I'm a overachiever sometimes. It's really bad. Like Julie's shaking her head, yes. So Heat just came out. Like what, a month ago? No, yeah, August, the end of August. Yep. And then I have my 4th book in the Royal Bastards. It's actually a nomad story. So in my my chapter in my series, I list nomads who are affiliated with my chapter, and I drop those in between the regular run. Like April was talking about, every year it's called a run and you have to sign up. So I will drop either a holiday style or just a story in between for one of the nomads. So it's called Halfway to Hell. It comes out October 10th. It's about Texas and a girl named Sunday Morning. I have quirky names in my books sometimes. Um, I like different, and so that book's about trauma on both sides, like him getting over the death of his wife and child, and then her. Uh, she was found basically on the road. Um, Discarded like trash. And so they meet because a police officer calls her sister to inform her that Sunday was in the hospital and what happened to her, but she left against doctor's orders. So her sister, which her name's Monday Morning, I know I'm quirky. She asks the RBMC for help, and that's how Texas goes to locate the sister and bring her back to Montreal, where she'll be safe. So it's about two people helping each other heal, you know. And that book, I will honestly tell y'all, there are scenes in that book that I like. Julie, sometimes you have to walk away. Um, the only other book I stopped writing and walked away from was my book Whiskey Rivers, which is a mafia story. Um, I had to actually just shut the laptop
Yep.
on halfway to hell a few times and just go find a happy place
Yep.
because it was, and I do have some humor in it to offset it, but it's a darker book, so that's your warning, people. Um, because I don't do trigger warning pages. I don't do. I think if you can watch the news, you can read a book. And I know that's harsh, but I also believe that everybody on some level has gone through something.
Yeah.
So that's me personally. That's how I feel. But anyway, so Halfway to Hell comes out October 10th. That book mentions Julie's characters, Link and Jessica. Um, and then after that, that's my last one for this year. But for next year, I have a big series called The Gypsy Kings. And the 11th, well, actually the 12th book in that series comes out in February called Tool. Doc just came out this year, and so they're in California. That series is based in It's an MC, and I mention characters from my other series. I do Easter eggs in all my series. Even if I'm writing my detective series in New Orleans, I bring in my Gypsy Kings, or I might even bring in my Royal Bastards. I mix it up. I introduce my characters from other series in all my books.
Yeah.
So Tool comes out February. Like I said, that's the 11th book in that series. Then me and April both did a character auction for the Phoenix Foundation. It's for money for women shelters and abused women. And so we both had somebody win a character with us. So did you mention that one, April, that you're writing that one?
That's the secret one that I'm currently working on because it hasn't been announced.
Whoops, sorry.
No. I mean, that's the one I'm working on. It is part of DEMC, and that's the one that'll come out in March. But I'm trying not to give too many details about it because the anthology and the book signing that I'm doing it alongside with, they have like this set timeline for like cover reveals and all of this stuff. So I'm trying to stay in line with what they're doing. So that's why I haven't said a whole lot about it, except if you're in my ARC group on Facebook, you've gotten a few snippets and stuff, but that's because those are my OG readers and I trust them all. They're not going to leak anything. So they do get a little bit more information than everybody else. But yeah, it was a book boyfriend auction.
Yes.
I had done one last year as well. And that's how Jackal was born because she won and she wanted a biker daddy. So we got Jackal out of that this year. So the one for next year is still part of DEMC. And she won and she gave me specs on the characters. I tried to like if you're auctioning or bidding on this dude, I want you to be able to pick someone that you want to be your book boyfriend, but like I've already paired off so many of the guys at this point. I was like, okay, tell me what you like, and I'll tell you what I so it's fun writing those, and it's for a good cause. I'm a sucker for charity. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm almost done with mine, and that one comes out next June. It's called Hellbound Hearts. And then after that, I have an RBMC. That's a nomad story. And then I actually have the eighth run that's called Hell on Heels. And if you see a theme with my titles, there is one. Um, and then I have the secret one that we're all doing that we haven't announced yet. And then what else do I have coming out? I write a lot, Beth. I write a lot. I actually, my readers are giving me a really hard time. I have a small MC series called The Road Devils, and everybody is waiting for book 4, and they're
Yes.
actually like really giving me a hard time that it hasn't come out yet. But that, I just have to fit it in, And I'm one of those people, the characters have to talk to me, and right now they're not talking to me, so I can't force it. But I is that all I have coming out yet?
Which one am I
Actually,
reading
yeah.
right now? Which one am I in?
Which
The document that I've been reading for you.
that's Hellbound Hearts.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do have another one. Actually, I did, and I apologize. It is an anthology. It is a charity anthology, and I haven't even begun to even think about it. But I'll have to drop the information into the comment section. But it's all for charity. Like all the money goes to a charity for food banks and um, soup kitchens, like so stuff like that. All the money goes to feeding the homeless and stuff like that. Like April, I'm a sucker for the charities, and sometimes I have to like say no, and I hate to say no, but I do have a big backlist. Like I'm honestly behind. I know I sound like I'm writing a lot, but I'm behind. I have like I have two I have 3 series that their next books should have already been out, and I haven't even started yet.
Wow.
So yeah, I do write a lot. So I don't think I do, but then when I start talking about it, I'm like, I write a lot. So I do. So I have like in the MC genre, I have the Gypsy Kings, which has book 11 coming out. I have the Road Devils. I have the Royal Bastards and the Royal Harlots, and then I have a spin-off series that I've been working on called The Sinner Saints, and then we have a new surprise series coming out, and that is also MC. Um, Now we don't know yet. We haven't really discussed it. It could be just one fun little set because it's 5 of us doing. Each one of us is doing a book for a different character in the little, I guess, the world that we created. So what we do with it after that will be up to each author what they have time for and what they want to do. But we'll announce that later on in 2026. Don't want to overwhelm the ladies with that. They have enough going on. So that's but I also write, I have a standalone in the MC if you like paranormal. It's called Raiden, and it's gods of stone, and they're gargoyle shifters, and they hail from Egyptian gods.
It's
I need to read
amazing.
those. I need to read that. Send me the link for those, please.
Oh, it's amazing. That's my
Yeah.
favorite one. I'm not a big
Yeah, that
paranormal reader,
one,
and I
yeah.
absolutely love her gargoyles.
Yeah, and then I write a series called The Enforcers, and it's demon, immortal women that hunt demons and wind up aligning with gargoyle shifting males. So that one, those are fun too. So if you're into fantasy, I do the paranormal and fantasy stuff as well.
Oh, that sounds so good. My new book that's coming out. Her cow is named Hathor. Her dog is Anubis. let's see, her horse is Revelations. Um, yeah, it's well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have
I
to
write
send you.
occult horror.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yes, you got to send me the link for that. I'm gonna love
Well,
it.
as long as you don't mind like demon orgies, you're good with it.
Oh, who doesn't love a good demon orgy?
There you
Hello,
go. You know,
sign
gotta
me
like,
up.
yeah, gotta like that train. You know, so but
And there goes the child.
that's okay. Look, I hear mine down below, trying to be quiet. So,
You have to go
um,
through my office to get to the bathroom. So
that's hey, doesn't bother. We're all there too. So I think that's every. And then I have my mafia series. So I do jump my lane. So I have Night Detective. I have Mafia. My Mafia is a little darker than everything else, and I would warn on Hellbent. Uh, Hellbent is my first one.
I know. He's talking to the dog about something. I don't know.
Hellbent. Hellbent's my first one in the RBMC. That's Montreal chapter, and it's darker. You're gonna go down. Yeah, it's really dark. And so is Whiskey Rivers. I think those are my two darkest books that I have. My Big Easy series, it's almost completed. I think I have one more book in that to wrap it up. But that one deals with from mental illness all the way to serial killers and stalkers. You have your um I'm lost for the word. Exhibitionists, like anywhere, anytime. You have murder mystery during Mardi Gras. You have cops chasing down mafia guys all the way to Italy. So you have a really big spectrum of, and that's right now a 5 book set. So it's more erotica, that one. More tie me up, tie me down. When I started that series, remember, I don't know, how long you've been writing, Beth. So I said I've been writing almost 10 years now. Back, probably like, say 7 years ago, the Dom genre, all that stuff with, the submissive and all that, that was big. And so when I started that series, that's when that was a big, big pull, and everybody was jumping in it. And I jumped on board, but I kind of did it in a different way, with police officers. So, and the thing, like, how we were talking about research and stuff like that, I actually sit down with New Orleans detectives and interviewed them and asked them the procedures and protocols. So anytime I've bought a lot of steak dinners to get information. So that's what I do. So I'll sit down. I'll sit down with motorcycle people and talk to them about things. I'll sit down with the cops, talk to them about things. I wrote a book called Running River. It originally released with Kay Broomberg's Driven World series. It was called Played. And then when I got my rights back, I had it re-edited, recover, all that. It's called Running River. And that's about superbike racers. And I wrote it during COVID. And I actually watched YouTube videos to find female racers. And then I found them on social media, started talking to them, and then got their email. And I did full interviews and scene edits with these ladies to make sure it was accurate, down to, you know, track drama, commentary, everything. And I love the story. It's about tragedy to triumph. It's one of my standalones. So, but all right, I just really went off the deep end, y'all. Like, oh, totally. That this whole thing should have been like 3 questions ago. I'm backwards. I'm backwards. So I do write. My whole thing is I tend not to stay in my lane. I tend to write a lot. Like lately, I don't know why, but I've been going down the rabbit hole on YouTube with bronc riders. And
Ooh.
yeah, my daughter's like, you really need to write a cowboy story. I said, when the fuck am I gonna fit that in? When? When if I tell Julie, hey, I think I'm going to write a cowboy series, she's going to fly down to New Orleans and put a bullet in me. I have enough.
You never say you're going to write a Bronco series. You just start off the series and say, "What do you think? Is it going to
Yeah,
go?"
yeah, because no, I'm already going down the rabbit hole. I'm like, dude, I got a story baseline. I could just wrap this into an MC. You know, who can I fit this on? What character can I make ride Bronx? And how will that work? And that's how my brain works. You know, driving down the road, I hear a song. I'm like, oh, that'd be a good story. That's
That's how Cuda
ridiculous.
came around.
What? What the hell? So anyway,
That's how that's how Cuda came to be. Because I was listening to Barracuda by heart. I was like,
yeah,
"Okay,
got a
I
story.
love it.
That, but you know, like I'm gonna ask Ollie y'all a question. Where do you get your inspiration from? Mine comes from music.
yeah."
Like I listen to a ton of music. I drive a lot. I drive a lot of distance, and I listen to a lot of different music, and that's where I get my inspiration. So, where's your muse come from? Where do you get your inspiration?
A
Songs.
lot of my male jokes, my it's coming from my husband. My husband, I'll say a joke and I'll be like, okay, well, that's going in a story. I hope you know that. He's like, you've already put me in. I'm like, yeah, well, it's going in again because I'm sorry, that has to go in a story.
That's great. See,
And yeah, and a
uh,
lot of music. I listen to a lot and everything. Like it's not just the new age stuff. I listen to a lot of 60s and 70s and 80s music. So I listen to everything.
yeah, I'm a big Rat Pack listener on Sunday mornings. Like I like to listen to old Blue Eyes and Little Sammy Davis. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes it's blues. It's like John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters. Y'all probably don't know who they are, but that's okay. So
I do.
you do.
I do.
I
Oh
So
yeah.
know a lot of
Dean
class.
Morton.
yes, yes. All right. So April, where you get your muse
Usually
from?
song. And like I listen to a lot of different things too. I don't anybody kill me because I like new country music, but I do like classic country music.
Hmm?
But I listen to a lot of classic rock. I also like goth and like emo music. I mean, I was born in the 80s, so what do you do? Uh,
Right?
but mostly it's like that's how even Falcon, I heard a song and it was actually a remake of a Chris Isaac song, and it was more like electronica.
Mhm.
And for some reason, I was listening to this song because I listen to YouTube music a lot. And so they replay a lot of the stuff that I've already established I like. But every once in a while, it'll throw you a curveball. And it always is one of those crazy ones that I haven't really heard. And a scene will start playing in my head. And it's never the beginning of a book, of course. So I have to figure out who the hell are these people, where they come from. And so I have to figure out how I can start the story, but I pretty much have a scene, one little scene from a song that I heard that has nothing to do with anything ever. And I write my way to that scene. And like for Falcon, it was the scene where he's jumping from the bed of a truck to the van.
Yeah.
Uh,
Great scene.
that was the scene that popped into my head listening to this random ass song. uh, and I was like, wow, that's intense and crazy. I should do that. And the funny, that was my first attempt at MC romance. I've been reading MC romance for a long time, but I had talked myself out of writing a lot of action and suspense because I just was nervous, I guess. But when that idea popped into my head, I was talking to a friend who wrote MC romance, and she was like, "Oh, you got to write it now." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." And she was like, "I don't know." And we actually went back and forth. And she was like, "You should commit to do the series." And I said, "How about this? I'll commit to writing 3 books." Because she said, "You need to write them in a series, go back to back." Because I'm really bad about jumping around and just releasing whatever. And so I promised her I would write 3 in a row of this series and see what happens. And after the second book released, it took off. And I was like, okay, so maybe you're on to something. And so, but I said I would write the third book. So that's why I'm sticking with it now, because it's been fun writing. But even the news stories, like I didn't know at the time that Eagle was going to be book 2 until I heard this song. And it's A Perfect Circle. was playing, and it's kind of a sad song where it's like, you're there, but you don't see me at all. And I was like, oh my God, it's Eagle and Lacey. Like that's the next book right there. So that's like their theme song, because she feels like he's not paying attention to her. And she's like, I just don't want to be some bunny in his bed. Like, I deserve more. So the story kind of evolved from that one thing where she's like feeling very low, and it was all because of that song. And that's why that one a little bit more angsty, not as much action, and it's a lot more emotional, because the theme song is, angsty and emotional. So, but every book I've ever written, it originated from some song that I listened to, and a scene started playing in my head, and then I just had to figure out how to get there.
That's how I wrote the scene, the saving scene in Closing on Links. I was listening to Save Me by Jelly Roll, and in it, the lyric is "Somebody save me," and that's the scene that come out as I was listening. And I just listened to that song over and over and over and over, and then it was like, okay, well, I gotta stop listening to the song, or else the story's not gonna go anywhere.
Oh, my kids. Because that's the thing. Once I have that song, I play it a million times to keep that one scene alive until I can get there. They're like, "Oh my God, Mom, stop!" It was a remake of the Chris Isaak Wicked Game is what triggered Falcon, and it was because I didn't mean to fall in love with someone like you. So, yeah.
Beth, what's yours? Because you've been interviewing us the whole time. I'm turning the table. So, what's your muse? How do you come up with your stories?
Where I live, I think I live in such a weird place. There's so much. I write occult horror. There's so much weird religion around here. You have the Mennonites and the Amish, and just the weird cult-like religion in this area.
So where do you live, can we ask?
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Wow. All right.
So
that's gotta be pretty interesting though.
It is. I mean, and my last book, I had a friend who kept telling me that my Facebook picture, the one with me in the hat, looked like a book cover. So I thought, okay, what story can I write to go with this stupid Facebook picture? and that's where I got the story from, my stupid Facebook picture.
But hey, it works out, right? So
you've seen the cover of my new book. It's my old Facebook profile picture. And yeah, it's based on Pennsylvania German folklore. Hex signs and
well, I'm
that kind of thing.
I have to check your books out, because I don't like gore, but I like diving into the weird and the strange and learn, and I like all that kind of gothic stuff.
That's what I do. It's more paranormal and religious kind of things than I don't do the gore. I don't know. My family just keeps calling when they know that I have a job. But since I do it from home, they don't believe it.
I keep getting messages. Call me. I'm like, I'll call in a minute. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, my phone never rings until I'm actually doing something. Then the kids think, hey, it's time to call Mom.
Yeah.
But we have been going almost 2 hours, ladies. So I guess we should stop. I've been having such a good time.
Yeah, it's been great. I warned Julie, though. I told Julie, I said, Beth doesn't know what she's getting into having 3 of us on at one time.
Are you kidding? I have enjoyed this thoroughly. And your books have been fabulous. You are definitely, anytime you would like to come back on the show, you just let me know. And yes, as a group or individually, as a group, I don't know if I can handle you again, but no, you have been terrific. But sometime today I should get my brekkie.
It's going to take me out in a little while, so.
This is the last day of the fair, and if I don't get my funnel cake today, somebody's gonna get a beat down. I'll tell you what, the only thing I enjoy from that stupid fair is a funnel cake.
I love it.
Well, love a good funnel cake. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being on the show. I have had a great time, and I wish you well in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
And like I said, anytime you want to come back, be my guest. I would be thrilled. And well, I'll definitely be reading more of your books. And send me the link for the gargoyles.
I
And
will.
and-
I'll send you the link for Raiden.
yes, please. Okay, ladies, you all have a great weekend, and thank you for being
too.
on the show. And
Thank you so much.
I'll see all the rest of you next weekend. And
Bye.
oh, happy Saturday! Bye bye.
Happy
Love
Bye.
ya.
Love you.
Whoop. All right. Stream.